Right, we're going to do the roof today, if it doesn't rain. It's 5x2, it's C16. So what we've done, if you can see there, the front of the building is 75mm higher than the back of the building. With this in mind, that'll give us enough fall to get the water to run off there. What I've done, I've marked the 5x2 there, it's 80mm. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to sit the OSB there on this side of the line. That'll let that hang over 80mm. Once I've got my back trimmer on there, another 45mm, that'll allow for 100mm soffit on the bottom. So I'm going to pop that in place there. That side of the timber there is going to be in line with that. Can you see that, Jen? Yeah. And the same on the front. So what will happen then, when you plasterboard, you'll be able to plasterboard right up to there, and we're also going to put some noggins in there, which I've explained to do before, but I'll explain again as well. So that's the first one. My overhang at the front there allows for a front trimmer and allows for 300mm soffit as well. So I'm going to get one on that side, pull a string line to the front, and then pop them all on. Starting to rain now, and then get them all nailed, and we'll put his noggins in, and I'll show you the side trimmers as well. Right, what we're going to do, I'm going to put that string line along the front. I'm just going to pull that one up to the top there, but when I've got two, just stay there. So I'm going to have one string line even on two timbers, and then that will mean that I can't climb up there. That will mean then when I put these other timbers on, I'm just going to pull it to the front of the string line, and then they'll be all in line with each other, because that one there is exactly the same distance off the front of that building like that one is. We're going to use a 400 spacer. The reason why we're using a 400 spacer is so that we can cut the insulation. This insulation is 2.4, so you'll get 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24. You'll get 6 400 pieces out of a full board, so it's more economical like that rather than doing 400 centres. It means cutting your plasterboard on a bigger build, but it's not the end of the world because the insulation costs a fortune at the moment. So with that in mind, we've got 400 spacers. What Jen's going to do, she's going to go to the back. She'll put a 400 spacer in there. She'll put a timber on there. I'll pull that timber to the front there to that string line, put my 400 spacer. We'll fix them and then work all the way along. Right, so what I'm going to do now, I'm going to look for the crown in the timber, which means basically if this timber's curved, I want the curve going up, because if we have the curve going down, you'll get pulled in the water. So all the timbers, you want the crown going up if the timber's in fact crowned, which this one is very, very fractionally. So it's going up like that. So they want to go up and the weight will push it down, and then you won't get any water pooling. So what I'm going to do, I'll put my 400 noggin in there. I'm just bringing that forward to meet the string line. When it's on the string line, what I'm going to do then is get the Paslode, and I'm going to put fixing in there, which means that 400 can come out. Jen will do the same at the back, and then we'll put joist hangers over the top there, upside down joist hangers, and I'll explain them as well. What we're going to do, so I put my string line on, so I know they're all hanging over the same distance. What we're going to do now, we're going to put another 5x2 trimmer on the front. I'm going to cut it big. In fact, it's a full piece. I'm not even going to cut it. What I'm going to do is let it hang over. I'm going to do the same on the back as well. And then when we put the side trimmer in, then it'll just make it easier for me and Jen, because we're on zone today, to hold it and fix it. And then what I'll do is once I've fixed it going that way, I'll then just cut off the excess. So what we're going to do, Jen's going to go to that side. If the timber's a bit warped like that, what she'll do is I'll start nailing there. She'll lift it up and down until it's flush for me all the way along, and every time it's flush I'll nail it into the front of the joist there, the roof joist. So that's the front trimmer. We'll do exactly the same with the back. Like I said, there's only 2 of us today, so the camera footage isn't going to be as detailed as what it was the past few days, which might be a good thing for some of you. So we'll put the front on, we'll put the back on, and then I'll show you how to do one side completely, and then we're going to crack on with it because it's going to rain and we want to get it done, don't we, Jen? Right. So what I want to do now, I want to put a side trimmer on the roof, which will then carry the roof soffit and fascia. We've worked it out so that we've got 100mm fascia on the soffit rather on the bottom, so we don't have to cut it down. So if Jen can see, this timber here, yeah, it's a little bit hard to explain this, so I'll try and explain it the best I can. What we want to do is fix that timber there, yeah, to that wall there by means of screwing it from the underside. But if you can see this timber here, there's a belly in it. Can you see that, Jen? So what we want to do, we'll fix a 4x2. We'll pull that across and fix a 4x2 so it's flush with the edge of that timber there. Yeah, we'll fix it from the underside, and once it's flush with the edge of the timber, it will then hold that timber straight. What we're going to do then, I've cut these noggins, we're going to then fix these noggins there like that. I'm going to fix through into that 4x2. I'm also going to fix through that 5x2. So what we'll have then is a series of these noggins, all completely independently supported. The roof will be tied into the wall. We will then drop our last trimmer on there, and it's spaced because we've got these spacers here, these noggins. So that'll go in there, it'll fix through there, it'll fix through there, and then we'll get the chainsaw and whip the ends off. And what'll happen then is we'll do exactly the same on that side. So that side will be braced off the wall, this side will be braced off the wall, then we'll put 2 rows of noggins across, which will then tie the roof into one big wooden structure where there's no movement whatsoever on it. So I don't know if that's explained right, but when you look under there now, I don't know if Jen can see under there, you're just gonna... So what'll happen is when Jen screws them, push them across like that, did you see that? Push it across, she'll then screw through there, and then when you plasterboard that, because that'll be flush, it will have something to fix to, and all you'll be left with then is these little holes there, which we will fill with rock wool when we come to insulate it, because there will be another timber there, and that noggin will obviously be to the height of that, so there'll be a little tiny hole there, a bigger hole as you go along, and they'll fill with rock wool. So that's what we're going to do, and then that'll be the roof structure complete once we put the rows of noggins in. Right, so I've explained to you that we've put them noggins in to carry that roof, this trimmer that's going on the side. So I've marked that one over there where it's going to go. I've also marked this one. What will happen now, Jen will get to that end, I'll get to this end. We'll drop in this pre-cut timber, and then it'll get fixed through the end, fixed through the face along there, and then we'll just chainsaw the end off. And there you can see, look, Jen's fixed them up through the head, haven't you, Jen? I've then fixed the last roof joist into them. You can see the nails there. Them noggins are fixed into the roof joist as well. They're also fixed and supported into these, which are then supported off the wall. Right, so that's the roof structure. We've got the roof rafters in. We've spaced them at 400 so that we can get the insulation in at 400 rather than 400 centres. It just means cutting your plasterboards a little differently, but it's more economical with the Kingspan, which is really expensive at the moment. What we're going to do, I've spiked the rafters through into that plate there that's fixed to the steel, but there's only 2 in it, so that to me is not sufficient enough to stop any wind lift. So what we're going to do, we're going to put some joist hangers on upside down, basically just to strap it down, stop any wind lift. What I'm going to do at the back there as well, Jen's already fixed them up into them, but again that's not sufficient for the wind lift. So what I'll do now, walk weirdly, what I'm going to do is spike them through like that, both sides, and then that, although this build will be protected from these conifers, from the wind by the conifers, but it's just good practice to spike it down completely into the wall plate, and then you know it's not going anywhere, because once that wind gets up to summit, it can pull the roof off like a sail basically. Alright, so that's it, that's the roof. It's starting to rain again. We're going to put upside joist hangers down on there. We're going to go for breakfast, and we're going to go for batteries because we've come to work with no batteries, haven't we, Jen? Thanks, Adam. Right, what we're going to do, I've put a nail in there and a nail in there, so it's spiked down to that, but like I said before, the wind uplift we don't want, so what we're going to do is 50mm joist hanger, literally going to put it upside down like that, and then we're going to fix it with twist nails. Which are these? Can you see them? Yeah. Ooh, camera skills. So we're going to fix it with twist nails. Put that one on there. I'm pulling it across tight. Don't need to see that. What we're going to do now, we're going to fix every single one of them holes, and that basically is your upside down joist hanger, which will prevent any wind lift taking the roof up. So that's it, that's the structure of the roof. It's raining, so we're not going to get the OSB on today because it don't want to get wet. Not that it doesn't want to get wet and don't want it to get wet. It doesn't have a mind of its own. Because that would be weird. That would be weird. An inanimate? Stand back. Stand back from me. Inanimate, what's the word? Imminent. No, inanimate. It's not real. It's not an inanimate object. Inanimate? Inanimate object. That's it, yeah, inanimate. And an inanimate object doesn't have a thought or a mind, therefore they always be... What am I talking about? OSB? Oh yeah, they always... the OSB doesn't want to get wet. It told me. It told me. It sent me a message. It went, please don't let me get wet. Right. Somebody said I'm acting like a teeny bopper. What the hell? So I blocked you. I'm very mature. So that's the roof structure completely done. It's 5x2, it's C16. We've got a 75mm fall from front to back. We've spiked it, we've fixed it from underneath as well. We've also put the upside down joist hangers on all, which will stop the roof from lifting up. So basically that's fixed to that, and that's fixed to the steel, and the steel's fixed to the walls, and the side walls are fixed to the roof. So everything's tied in, it's not going nowhere. It's forecast rain again, so we're not putting the OSB on just at the moment. It's probably going to go on tomorrow now. Also, Jen's gone around and put a row of noggins in all the way around as well, which you need. She's also put carriers for plasterboard there as well on sides. So where there isn't a timber, we've then fixed these 4x2s to the sides. We've screwed them through rather than nail them. If you nail them, it punches them back a little bit. If you screw them, it pulls it forward. So that'll fix the plasterboard there and carry that. So what we're going to do tomorrow now, if the weather is good, we're going to get the roof on. We'll get the rubber on. And then we'll, what we do then, Jen? Then we'll start insulating the walls as well. Okay.